Welcome to the Empress and the Fool.
I'm Sarah Ditmore.
And I'm Kaitlyn Gulock, and we're here to discuss all things magical and mystic from the perspective of two curious witches.
This is our bi-weekly Tarot Time episode where we review our favorite decks and discuss the ethics and methodology of reading tarot for yourself and for others. I'm excited.
I'm so excited too. This is like the perfect second Tarot Time episode. If you haven't listened to our first one, we do talk about our tried and true Rider-Waite Smith decks. But going forward, we're kind of diving into probably tarot decks that we don't jointly own.
Yeah, like each of us kind of sharing our own. We'll also do Oracle decks. We'll do reviews. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I have been... This morning, I was pulling... every morning, I, pull a little tarot spread. Mm-hmm. And this morning, I went to pull my tarot spread, and I just kept feeling like, no, I need to pull, my runes, my little stones. So I haven't done that in forever, and so I had to, look up what they all meant again. But it made me think we should bring the runes on at some point and talk about those.
I have wanted to get into scrying with runes so badly. And I really want to learn how to make my own runes.
Ooh, mine are handmade.
Yeah, so I think that would be a perfect episode in the future.
Oh my god. We could do a little craft episode together where we make our runes and talk about them.
Oh my god, can you imagine
little live where people can join us and we can all make runes together?
Okay, that and maybe as a fun bonus episode whenever we visit each other, which should be sooner rather than later, maybe we can go hunting for runestones together or wood together.
Yes, I love this. Okay. So
like
and subscribe because this will be coming someday.
The scheming is my favorite hobby.
Scheming is your whole essence.
That's my whole... You know me so well.
I do.
So we were gonna do little updates on our life and little chitty chats, but I really don't know that we have too much to update on today.
Yeah, well, I feel what listeners don't know is that we kind of batch recorded all of these before they started coming out, so I feel these first few episodes we don't have any updates because we're living the same life that we were yesterday.
Pretty
but next week we'll have updates.
Well, yeah, because next week we're uploading our first.
I know. So if you're listening now, from where we're sitting, it is February 12th, and we're planning to release our first episode on February 19th. So we're feeling very excited. We're 1 week away from launch. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that the next time we record, because the next time we record will probably be the day our first episode goes live, which is crazy.
That's really weird.
I know. I'm feeling so legitimate.
So when we actually started talking about recording these episodes and actually doing these podcasts and putting the pieces together was in December.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't count, 2016 when we said we should have a podcast someday. But yes, the first time we got, serious about it was, I think, December.
And I remember my little Aries brain was just but why not now?
Yeah.
But why not start now? And
I was because it's Christmas next week. I have family in town.
But also, I remember you are also... gonna be surprised at how fast this flies and how much work we should get done in these next 2 months.
Yeah.
And how much easier it's gonna be. And I was okay, but why not? Why not now? Why not just start now? And I'm really glad we did it this way because
here we are.
I can't believe it's already here.
Episode 4.
That's so wild. So light a candle, grab a friend, and
let's begin.
Put your ear holes on and let's go. I'm actually gonna light a little candle because I want to. This one is real busted.
I need to get a new candle. My normal desk candle has burnt out, but I'll get one and then we can make a little candle ritual at the start of our episodes.
I'm gonna grab another candle really quick behind my...
Behind your mystery flag of mystery.
Behind my mystery gay flag, I have a much nicer little candle over here. That's called, I think you'll love this. My friend got it for me as a gift. It's called Houseplants. It smells like green leaves and moss. And it was made in Denver, where I am. And so we're going to light this bitch.
I know, those kinds of candles, like, as they melt, all the wax goes to the bottom, and it's like, I can't fit my hand inside.
I actually can't. I'm going to burn myself, but...
You need one of those, like, long stick lighters.
I do. Or I can just use the one flame to light the other wick.
Is it working?
Is it working? Oh, it worked!
Wow, that's witchcraft. And that's on witchcraft.
Da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah. So, houseplants, here we go.
Okay,
right,
so what deck are we looking at today?
I am so excited. This is like the perfect deck to start off kind of our more like
one individual episodes?
Yeah,
personal, I don't know.
Yeah, our like showing off our decks.
Our show and tell.
Yes. This is actually, we're going to review an Oracle deck. It is called the Modern Nirvana Oracle, and this is actually a gift that Sarah got me.
Yeah.
This is like epitome of Sarah. I surprised her in New Orleans for her 30th.
Yes.
And I brought little gifties, and of course, Sarah got me a giftie as well, even though they didn't know that I was going to be in New Orleans.
I didn't realize that's when I gave it to you.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I came to your hotel room and wanted to have, like, a cute little hangout and, like, pull tarot cards for each other. And I think I might have given you a...
You did. I'll review it at some point. But did you give me the moon deck or the...
Yes, I think so.
Or the green witch deck.
Oh. I think it was Green Witch deck, actually.
Yeah, because I got two decks on that birthday trip, and one was from you, but, it's the Green Witch Oracle. I'll bring it sometime. It's all, like, plants and stuff. It's very cool.
But I love how we both gave each other some sort of, like, divination deck to each other, and it wasn't even my freaking birthday, but you were like, oh, I just brought this because I thought you might be here, even though you didn't know I would be here at all.
Yeah, I remember I got that from, so I work at the local bookstore in Truckee, Word After Word Books. Come visit. And they all know, obviously, about my witchcraft and practice, and so when that deck came in, it was, like, from a sales rep, and the manager of the bookstore gave it to me and was like, will you take this home and, like, take a look at it and try it out and see if we should stock it? And I took it home and I opened it up and I was like, oh, Kaitlyn. Like, this does not belong to me. This belongs to Kaitlyn. And yeah, I think there had been, like, my sister had asked for, like, a list of friends, like, theoretically, and they were planning a surprise, like, 30th for me. So when I knew I was leaving, I didn't know where I was going, I didn't know what we were doing, but I knew that there was a vague potential friends could be there, and so I brought it just in case you were there, and you were.
And I did creep up behind you in the streets of New Orleans,
and
I, like, chased you for blocks with the help of your...
I, like, find my friends.
With the help of your fiance, I was so creepily, he was like, I'm going to share my location with you, come and, like, surprise us. And then you guys moved locations, and I was like...
Well, I feel like, generally speaking, I'm not really a very, like, loud person. Like, I'm a loud person, but I'm not usually loud when I, like, see friends. I'm not one of those, like, oh my god, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like you and I have never had a quiet reunion in our lives.
Never. No. Why?
We're incapable of such things.
It's always like, blah, 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 I love you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you, like, jumped on my back and that felt right.
I did. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, so, like, let's get into
the origin story, yeah.
That's the origin story. So it's so special to be gifted. Obviously, like, we've kind of talked about, like, there's like an idea that you have to be gifted Oracle decks.
Or at least, I think it's like your first tarot deck. It's like you have to be gifted your first tarot deck, but I don't believe in that.
I don't believe in it either, and I just called it a Toracle deck. Instead of a tarot and an oracle deck, I called it a Toracle deck. So I personally believe, and I think Sarah shares this, if you like it, buy it. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
But it is just so special to have that, like, magic imbued, and that's going to be on another episode that I actually want to talk about, which is the magic of gift giving, and that's like where I believe tangible magic exists for most people and sentimentality. So this has so much magic for me. So I love it. So thank you.
Yeah, I do think there is a particular magic when, like, I don't believe that you need to be gifted your first tarot, and I don't believe that it makes a tarot or oracle deck less significant if you buy it for yourself. But I do think there is, like, a particular magic about being gifted an oracle deck that, like, you maybe never would have found or bought for yourself. It's like finds its way to you and then like ends up maybe like I definitely have some oracle decks that were gifted to me, and we'll talk about them when we get to them, that like didn't really feel like my vibe, and I didn't really think I'd like them, and I never would have bought them for that reason, but I have ended up finding they're very magical. And so I think there's like a special magic to an oracle deck that someone gifts you that then like resonates in a way you're not necessarily expecting.
Yeah.
Okay,
also, sorry, now that I think of it, I might have given you both of the
No, the other one was from Tanya.
Oh, it's from Tanya. Okay.
Yeah, Tanya gave me the moon one.
Oh my god, no, I think I gave you the moon one and she gave you the green witch one.
That could be true. We'll bring them out later and it'll spark your memory. Let's talk about your deck.
Yeah. Yes.
People don't want to listen to us try to remember who gave me which gift. I think it's fascinating, but
I mean, both of those sound plausible for me, and my brain is just like,
and for
wait,
Tanya, they both align for both of you, so.
But yeah, so like, let's get into this one. So here, I'm going to show you the box first and give you a little audio description. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can just see it with your eyes. Or listen with your ears. Who knows? So it is a black box with gold on the sides. It has a woman with black hair and kind of like a Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd kind of prism on the front. And it says the Modern Nirvana Oracle. So this was actually created by Kat Graham, Jennifer Sodini, Frank Ilardi, and Bryant Wood. Illustrated by Natalie Miller. You'll be able to see all of this in our show notes. I'll link the Oracle deck so you can give it a look yourself.
And again, if you would look on YouTube, we'll be sharing, like, we'll take turns, like, describing the cards and stuff, but visuals are all on YouTube if you're curious.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do know is that Jennifer Sodini, she also, she illustrated and made my first Oracle deck that I got, which is the Amenti Oracle. Yeah, so I was like, oh my god, I actually recognize her name.
That's amazing!
Which is really cool. Yeah.
See, it really was meant for you. That deck was meant to find its way to you.
And I usually don't remember things, as apparent by our conversation. Yeah, so just kind of, I think, like, starting off the box, the kind of packaging, I really love that it has this, like, side magnetic clasp.
That is my absolute favorite way a box can open, where it's, like, instead of pulling the top off, it's got, like, the magnetic from the side. It's beautiful. Chef's kiss.
And it's not, I don't like, even though a lot of tarot cards like come in this format, and a lot of like decks of cards come in this format, like the traditional like kind of like flat
the little like paper cardboard. I like the hard cardboard where the top pulls off, or the magnetic cardboard that it opens from the side,
because I will rip those tabs open so fast.
My only thing about the kind that are magnetic like that, I love them. As, like, someone who reads at markets and stuff, it is nice when the top comes all the way off and I can put it on the bottom, because then I can just, like, keep the cards in their box and pull them out when I need them. But
I do like that.
For, like, durability and, like, storage and usage, I like that kind of box a lot.
It's very nice. And here's the box ASMR. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. So my favorite thing about this box too is that when you open it up, it is just so gorgeous.
It's like a watercolor. It reminds me of the old school like word art gradients where it's like blue on one side and pink on the other, and it's like a slow gradient to like light blue into purple into pink, and then it has like a swirl of almost like it looks like melted gold has been like swirled through it all.
Ooh. Yeah, it does look like very water ripply or like incense smoke.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that they didn't just put like a color. Like it's a very beautiful, and it matches. It looks like, is that the like booklet?
Yeah. This is the instruction booklet, and it has a little ribbon so you can like pop the cards out.
You have to do that.
You have to. Otherwise, I'm like
yeah, if it's the magnetic closure and it doesn't have the ribbon, girl's gonna be pissed.
And actually, so the back of the cards match the inside lining of the box.
Ooh, but it goes all the way. So like pink is in the middle, and then like top and bottom are blue, and then you have the gradient into the middle. Very cool.
It looks like a sunset, but if you could see through the earth.
Yeah. A sunset from the earth's perspective.
Oh.
I guess that's not true.
Wow, that's like really pretty.
Probably. If you
it probably looks really different.
See the sun revolving around you, or you revolving around the sun.
We know things.
I know science. Don't worry about it. Let's move on.
Yes.
I'm not trying to like reveal that I'm secretly a flat earther or something, or that I still believe we revolve around. No, wait. We revolve around the sun.
I have a lot of thoughts. But yes, we do exist in a galaxy where we revolve around the sun, and these cards are very pretty. All right, so we have, as components to like what's in here, we have our little booklet, and then we have the cards. I love the booklet. I really like that it's like small and manageable. It is the same size as the rest of the cards, and it's not just like a little paper pamphlet. It's like a real ass book.
Heft. Yeah. It's like a solid finger in width.
Yeah, it is.
That's girl math.
Yeah, no, it's very it's very detailed, and it does have like images of all of the cards on it too.
Wow.
So and like, because they're oracle cards, they're not ordered in any sort of way, but the book is ordered in alphabetical order, so you can actually like find it way easier, which I really love. So this whole thing was like really thought out.
Very sensical, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll kind of show you. I actually pulled these cards initially, or like I went through and tried to find some examples of the imagery, because it was illustrated by one person. Wow. They're all just so beautiful. I wish I could show you them all. But there's kind of like 4 general visual themes that I see in these cards. So I pulled 4 that I really love. They're all just gorgeous. I just have sat and stared at them for so long. So this is my first one that I have. It's gratitude.
Oh, that's beautiful. So it says, it has like a person with their hand on their heart and like their foot up in the air and their other arm behind them, and then radiating from behind them, like kind of from the heart, is a rainbow that's like blue at the center, and it radiates out to the red in these like big like growing rays of light. And yeah, it says gratitude. I
love it so much. It makes me so happy to look at her. And she kind of looks like Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have that. This is my other favorite one. And I can like give you a little sample of descriptions as well in a little bit. But just to start with the visuals.
Ooh,
so this one's emotions. Yeah, so that one has a person in it. This one is a jellyfish. It's like much more what do I say? Like it's not as like crisp. It's kind of more like
has, like,
artistically blurred
to it.
Yeah, so it's like a beautiful like big kind of purpley blue pink jellyfish head on the top, and then these like golden wavy tentacles on the bottom that almost look like hair.
But like so many, like you can't even count them. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like I don't even know. what kind of jellyfish this is.
They feel like very like, I know we'll get more into the magic level, but like the visuals feel very channeled because they all are different and they all like have the essence of the word, that it feels very like this person like saw in their mind's eye and then like recreated.
Yes. I mean, like, all of these, I'm just so in awe at and it's not, like, kind of cliche imagery of, like, emotions of, like, somebody with, like, a heart bursting out, which is, like, totally fine. But this is, like you said, it's very well thought out.
Yeah,
like, it's so...
very intuitive.
So deliberate.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just beautiful. So the third kind of style that I see is almost more like sigil runic. This one is authentic expression.
Oh, cool. It's got sort of a cloudy background that's pink and blue. And then it's
trans rights.
What? Yes, it is a, like, trans rights vibes. We stand trans rights.
Yes, we do.
And then it's got, like, a golden rune on it, but it's not any rune that I've seen. Like, maybe it exists as a rune, but it looks very unique, which makes sense with authentic expression. It looks like a 4 that's been, like, reversed, and the, like, top doesn't connect. Like, it's a straight line, and then the diagonal line of the 4, instead of connecting back to the top, has, like, halfway up is, like, a little circle.
Yeah. So there's, like, different rune kind of cards scattered about.
That's really cool.
There's another... Sorry, I was going to give you one example of each. I think,
like, sigil is a great... Like, they are very... They look like created sigils by the artist.
Which is so beautiful. Like, which is just so cool. Wait, there's one... Like... Put on the telephone, like, elevator hold music while I find the other one that I really loved.
That's a reference for all you Adventure Zone fans out there.
We love the Adventure Zone.
We're letting our nerd show.
Go listen to the McElroy Brothers if you haven't. If you want something whimsical.
Someone has found our podcast and not the McElroy family, like a titan of the industry. Actually, to be fair, we have a lot of like witchy folks in my friend groups and your friend groups that maybe aren't D&D nerds as well. So
probably
we're just comedy nerds.
All right, I found the 2 other runes that I really liked as well.
Really cool. Okay, I'm not gonna like fully try to describe them, but one is like a sideways A that has like, you know, but like runic and different, and that's compassion, yeah. And then the other one is squaring the circle. Very cool. And it's like it almost looks like the start of a pentagram, like a star, but then it turns into like a rectangle. Those are really cool.
It looks like a funky mug.
It does look like a funky mug. Like, the mug has, like, kind of a star, like, pentagram-y handle. That's really cool.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I just had to show that. It's just, like...
It just feels like those... like, we'll talk more about the intuitability, but it feels like these cards, like, the imagery isn't necessarily storytelling like you see in tarot, but it's, like, it's got depth. Like, it's telling its own story.
It's kind of one of those decks where if you like look at the card long enough, you do get like I think it's one of those decks where you can really meditate on each of the cards.
Yes.
Without reading the book, but reading the book is really interesting, which I will get into after I show you this last one.
Okay.
So this is more of like a kind of, I don't know how to describe this imagery, but I think this is just so beautiful. This card is the teacher's card. So it's like 2 antelope standing opposite of each other, but facing the viewer, with their antlers slightly intertwined at the top with a crescent moon.
Yeah, and there's like glowing lights from their foreheads and from the place where their antlers connect. I love it so much.
Right? It just feels like very...
A lot. I've said this with the jellyfish, too, but these ones, to me, like, same with the jellyfish, it almost feels like this is how I receive messages when I'm dreaming or when I'm doing spirit journeys.
Yes.
Where it's, like, the background's kind of foggy, and you can see this sort of vision of something happening, but you can't... It's very interpretive, very symbolic. I really vibe with those ones.
It's so gorgeous, and like just because this one is here too, and like I have to say too, very dreamy, very inclusive.
Yeah.
That's another thing that we've like mentioned on our last
I'm interested what you mean, because so far we've seen like sigils and animals. Okay, love it. This one is
strength, yeah.
And it's got like a black person that's male presenting, that has no clothes on, but their whole upper body is covered in what looks like a bouquet of some sorts, maybe like wildflowers or like
they look like
reeds.
wildflowers.
Okay, it almost looks like there's like wheat in there or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then radiating out of the top of their head is like a projection with like blue light that then turns into this like misshapen circle that's filled with what looks like water.
It looks like a stone to me, actually. Like, it looks like this kind of...
Oh, you're right.
Love that you...
Yes.
I like that you thought it was water, though.
No, I see what you mean. It's like, it looks like even the shape of it. It looks like it's just I can't think of the type of crystal right now, but yeah.
It's
very
like,
cool.
It's like a smoky... It's almost like, not a smoky quartz, but I know what you're thinking of, too. It's like zebra.
It's like black with like gray stripes. Very cool.
But it does have this, like, dream. That's why I pulled this. I was like, I pulled 4 cards, but I've shown you, like, 8. Because this one, it does have this, like, very dreamlike quality to it that does... It's not, like, obvious, but it kind of is obvious. I don't know. It just, like, there's something just so, like, oh, I just got, like, chills. I love this deck. I love just sitting with it. And I haven't done the thing that I normally do, which is, like... go through each of the cards and stare at them and then read about them as the publisher or the author of the cards meant to in the book. I actually just read them as they come up.
Yeah, that's honestly how I am with most of my decks these days. I don't like sit and study them anymore unless I feel it needs to be studied. Mm-hmm. I kind of just like sit, like work with them a little bit on my own, and then when I feel like I've got a sense for the deck, I start incorporating it into client readings.
Yeah, this one I very much like am just, you know what, I'll take it as it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just totally be a newbie. I don't really want to know a ton about it before I pull it, and then like I don't want to read the whole book. So, onto the book, which I think is really interesting. So, I actually pulled to the page of kintsugi, which is the Japanese art of mending broken pottery with gold.
Yes.
Yeah, king is gold and sugi is to conjoin.
Okay.
So, there's one called kintsugi, and so...
Which almost is kind of like the gold woven through the whole background.
Yeah.
But like...
Oh. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the page that I just opened up to instinctively. It'll show you a little a kind of preview of the card on one side, and then it's usually 3 pages of description.
Wow.
For
and
each
is it
card.
Just like paragraph description, or is it subcategoried?
So it starts off with a quote. All of these start with a quote from different places. Like Compassion is Prince from the Vegetarian Times in 1997. Compassion is an action word with no boundaries. And for kintsugi, it's everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it by Confucius. So it starts off with like a really meaningful quote from like really from all sorts of different Chinese proverbs, Rumi, the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. There's just also so there's all sorts of different sources that this book that this like oracle deck really pulls from, which it feels very much that way. It feels very like worldly, very ethereal.
That's awesome.
So it explains like what kintsugi is. It like kind of gives a little bit of a description of kind of the background,
Cool.
a little bit of like kind of offering a little bit of like advice and solace. And then at the end it says, if you pulled this card and are feeling broken today in any way, remember the art that you are and that there's always a space for a new masterpiece or master of peace to emerge.
Oh.
I
love that.
Yeah, and then it has the actual person who contributed to this card is written at the end. So that was by Jennifer Sodini.
Wow.
And then each card ends with a mantra. And this mantra, Yeah, so this mantra is, I weld the pieces of my past back together with gold and stand in my presence as a work of art to behold. What was no longer is, and what will be is beautiful.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's beautiful. Very poetic, which makes sense. Like, the art is very poetic as well, so.
it does, and it doesn't really, I think, in a slightly different way from the tarot, and that's definitely just kind of more general with oracle cards too. It doesn't actually, yeah, like you said before, it doesn't really tell a story or like a specific thing. It's kind of more of a general message.
Yeah.
And like definitely up to interpretation. All of these like descriptions or kind of like elaborations on all of these cards are pretty long. So I definitely do kind of truncate them when I read them for other people. I'm like, let me just give you the gist, because you're not here for me to just like give a book report.
And do you find that generally with this deck you always go to the booklet, or do you find that like sometimes the message just comes through when you pull the card?
I pull a card, or I let people pull their own cards, but I'll like shuffle them and explain them to people. I will let them sit with the card initially and let them just kind of gain their own meaning, because there is so much to be processed in these images. It's not as like straightforward, and there's so much to and like so many of these concepts really can be kind of like ruminated on for a little bit. Like one of these is like modern. One of these is assertiveness.
And it feels like it would be a really good deck for just like a morning meditation practice of just like pulling a card and like meditating on whatever comes through.
100%. And like I just feel like the concepts are so broad, and like what's really interesting about this more than any other deck that I've seen, it's so self-reflective and so self-driven of what strength means to somebody is really, really different. And so kind of let people sit with that and ask them what they interpreted from it. But then I will go to the book and I'll read them the quote, because I think the quotes are always really interesting. I'll kind of read through and kind of like give more of the gist, because it's really great to read, but I think it kind of like loses people a little bit. When you're doing a reading for someone else. So I'm like,
too much,
I'm like, let me just get the gist, because you didn't come here for me to just like read a book to you. You could do this yourself. So I'll interpret it, but then I like sticking with like the mantra that they say. Because it is,
it's almost like part of the card. Like,
yes.
Yeah,
it's like a part of the whole experience.
You're mentioning like that how you do it for others. Do you use this deck for yourself very often, or do you find it's mostly for other people?
I do. So, I actually like feel like I should use this deck much more often. It is my go-to oracle deck. I usually use it as a pair to a tarot reading.
Like as in like in a tarot reading, like for clarification or to answer a different question.
Mostly it's like I'll pull tarot cards, and then if I just want some like little message or some little kind of like stone of strength to kind of like some message to carry. Some message to carry with me, or some like almost like a little like tarot blessing, like you know, if I pulled like kindness, it's like, oh, okay, like to remember to like move forward today with kindness, or move forward this week with strength. But it really depends on the like reading that I've done it with. I usually just use it as an adjunct, like
a little like
hey,
like a little like end, a
little
side
dessert,
little dessert,
little dessert. It's like a little side dish to like, hey, maybe while you're asking about this thing, you can keep this thing in mind as like a theme.
Definitely.
Which is like so beautiful, and I'm so grateful for these. So let's see what else we have to talk about. So should we do feel and shuffleability?
How do the cards feel? Are they the right size? Are they easy to shuffle?
They're pretty standard like tarot size. It's pretty.
Like, how thick are the actual cards?
It's actually like a really nice like cardstock quality.
Cool.
And the feel is very like satiny.
Ooh, I love a good satiny deck.
I know, but it's not slippery.
Good, yes.
Because sometimes, I don't know, with new decks, before you've kind of like broken them in and they have that like really slippery finish on them, I'm like, God fucking damn it. Like, I can't. They're like, they're like a cartoon character explode all over me.
I have a deck like that we'll review that is not only super slippery, but it's like gotta be 200 cards. Like, it's huge. And so it's like the shuffleability is crap, but it's a great deck otherwise.
No, this one is very, very shuffleable. Like, despite it having like quite a few cards, it's not quite as like thick as a Rider Waite deck. It's almost like a little bit more manageable.
Nice.
But the cards are like really beautiful quality, feel really, really sturdy.
Does it say on the box like how many cards there are? I'm curious.
50.
50. Okay, so it is slightly less than the Rider Waite.
Yeah, but it does feel
nice
like really
number.
good. It feels really good to shuffle. They're really beautiful. I feel like what a lot of people do when they're shuffling tarot cards is like, oh, if one pops out, like that's kind of a message. And I feel like these cards really lend themselves to that too.
That's nice. Yeah. I do feel like it depends on the deck. Like, sometimes I'm totally buy into that, and sometimes I'm like, I'll even ask my guys when I shuffle, I'll go, was that for them or was that a bad shuffling?
Yeah. And then I guess, I don't know, is there anything that I'm kind of like, oh, one thing I missed, the baggability of this card.
We love a baggability card.
If you didn't listen to the last episode, is how easily can you put this in a purse or a bag or like travel around with it? Because there are some that are not very baggable at all.
Like the Rider Waite Smith, because you have to get your own case for it.
Otherwise, that case will disintegrate.
Apart.
Honestly, with the box and the book and the cards, like, it all is very conservative of space.
Yeah.
So it does feel like you can just, I mean, it's like, obviously it's a deck of cards, so it's like a little bit bulky, but probably like one of the more compact, like
I do
constructed packaging.
Yeah, I do
size.
love a deck that like, where it doesn't feel like the box adds a ton of space, you know? Like, the deck and the box feel about the same size.
Yeah, and it totally is. I do have one that I want to review soon, and like the cards are regular, like kind of standard tarot size, like 2.75 inches by 4.75 inches. But the cards are this, and the packaging is like this.
I also have a deck like this that we will review. It's a nightmare.
And it drives me crazy because I'm like, I can't put this whole damn box in my bag. Like, this is very travelable. So nice. I usually do, if I am traveling, I'll always take my Rider Waite Smith in my beautiful little leather case. Yeah. But if I have room, I'll put this one with it.
Yeah, and it feels like it seems durable enough too, like that it's not going to get pulled apart.
Oh, I've taken her places, and you can see it's like a little bit tattered on some of the spots, but it's so well made, like so nice.
And okay, so the only thing we didn't talk about, or I guess we kind of talked about it, but I guess I'm curious on like your final take on, is like, we have a note of like intuitability, and so do you find that like the images, if you sit with them, like have a lot of intuitability, or do you find that you really have to look up the meaning to kind of get what they are?
I feel like it's almost kind of it's kind of like two separate things. It's one is like, I do sit with it for a minute and try to like get my own impression of what I think about the card and what I think it means to me and what my initial thoughts are. But I do think that, especially with this one, because I really do love the booklet and I do love the things that it has to say, it does feel very integrated and intertwined. There are some cards, and I bet you've seen this before, where there's some cards where like I kind of like don't really read the booklet anymore after a little bit. I'm like, I don't really.
Yeah, we will review some of those.
I have my own thoughts about how this is going. But this one I do feel like, because it's so thoughtful and because it's so well integrated, I do feel like it's just two parts of the whole. Like, what are my impressions of how this is relating in my life and what I think this means, and then what wisdom can I gain from the booklet that I don't know about this card and what it was intended to be. And it usually is very complimentary and like adds something.
It makes me think of the tarot in that sense, where like the card itself you can get a lot out of, but then like researching the meaning of the card traditionally also adds like a layer of depth to it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this one definitely feels, because I've never seen it anywhere else either. Like, this is very much like its kind of own thing. But I do want to rely on the book. Yeah. And like, I do really want to know what they have to say.
Yeah.
So I guess for intuitability, do we want to try, before I pull a card, because I've actually used this deck before, I will give you magic level incredibly high.
Yeah, you found, and so when we say magic level, at least I think, correct me if you feel different, but I think that when we say magic level, we mean like that feeling of like you pull the cards and it's like, how did they know? And it's like always very like on point, like, you know, never misses, would be high magic, and low magic would be like you pull it and you really have to be like, is this what I was supposed to pull? Like, I don't know that this relates to the question. So on a scale of the fuck are they talking about to how did they know, what is the magic level?
It's a magic level of where the Rider-Waite kind of is like a, how the hell did you know that? Yeah. This one is like a, I didn't know I needed to know that. Like, it's not like predictive and like tells you. It's like, I didn't know I needed to hear that.
It's like digs deeper than that. It kind of pulls out the like the shadow side, like the stuff you're not looking at.
100%. Yeah, it definitely has that kind of level of like, almost like reverence to like, what do you have to tell me? Like, what? Oh, okay, I should be aware of that. And it is like, and kind of like I said, I use it how I used it before. It's very much like a, what should you go forward with? What should you keep in mind? So it's kind of more of like an advice moving forward thing rather than kind of like a predictive thing. And still that magic level feels like so high to me, because it usually does very much align with like how I need to move forward. Like, I'm usually not very kind to myself. So like it'll show me like kindness or like
well, I do think like I think that the imagery really, for me at least, keeps evoking like the way spirits communicate, like channeled messages. And so it does feel like there is that like reverence of like, it's not just a card deck talking to you when you pull those cards. Like, it's a message from spirit of like, this is what you need to be paying attention to right now. And even the way you feel called to use it is very like what is the message? What is the thing I should be paying attention to? Like, it feels very like otherworldly.
It feels like it's existing on kind of a plane above. Like, I feel like, not to keep comparing it to the Rider-Waite-Smith, but that really has to do with like our shared human experience and the things that we deal with day to day. This feels like a level floating above, like the ethereal plane of like, what's going on over there? Like, not just down here of like, my heart is broken, my finances are good, my, you know,
it almost
I'm fighting with my
more
coworkers.
Like major, like related to like it's like got the energy of the major arcana, but all in one deck, you know, of like the major arcana is more like those spiritual matters, the bigger picture, like the, you know, but I feel like it's got that like the reference, I think, is a really good word that really, I feel like, suits that deck.
So I like, just everything about it is just so freaking lovely. I also like love the way that they fold out.
It's just so gay.
It's so gay.
It's so gay. I love it.
So I guess to kind of
Yeah, let's pull some cards.
Can I pull a card for you?
Yeah, so I think one of the ideas we had that I really like is one for you, one for me, and one for us. And the us is the audience. Yes. Is like everyone listening. Us and everybody listening.
Yeah. And is there anything that you are like kind of wondering like that you need this week, or
I feel like given what you said about this deck, maybe the question for me or for the audience or for both is like what message is like most aligned for us right now? Like what do we need to hear? What do we need to like put our attention? What like it like okay. I'm getting that like neurodivergent rambly. But I'm thinking the thing that just like clicked for me is I said earlier that it feels like the kind of deck that you could sit and meditate with. And so like what is a topic or message that we need to meditate on right now?
I really
put our
like
energy and attention towards.
All right, so I'm going to pull one for you.
Send all my vibes. Feel my energy.
Receiving energy. All right. All right. So what does Sarah need to meditate on? Let me excuse the silence while I feel vibrations in my right ring finger. That's where my magic is. Oh, hello. Where are you?
I feel nervous. You're right
here. Ooh, it's actually a card that I showed before. It's the Rose Phoenix.
The Rose Phoenix.
I don't know if
you can. Wow. Okay, I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means
for
either.
The listeners, it's like a pink rosy background. And then, but like very, like just watery, like you can't see a rose or anything. It's just that color. And then it has that sigil on top of like the golden lines. And the sigil here, it's like a rectangle, but then the bottom part of the rectangle goes up and to the left and kind of dissects the rectangle and comes back down, making like an A. So it's like an A with a rectangle coming up from it.
Yeah. That was actually very well described.
Thank you.
All right. So,
okay.
I'm going to do the same thing that I usually do. The Rose Phoenix, the quote is, "Be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid." Basil King, The Conquest of Fear. So it's
Hold on. Time out.
What?
I'm just laughing because every fucking reading I have done for the past 2 weeks, I told you recently on an episode that I've had this business opportunity that's exciting and nervous. Yep. And over and over and over, no matter what deck, how I phrase the question, the messages I keep getting are like, you need to trust what you are capable of and do the thing. And then the second message that comes in is that you need to work with spirit. Like, spirit will support you on this. Like, you're not alone. And so you're like, be bold and other forces will come to your aid. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
You're like, I know.
So magic level, yes.
Yes, very high. Magic level is yes.
Okay,
this one's actually interesting. I just kind of like skimmed over it. This one has 6 steps in it.
Ooh, wait. I feel like I need to write this down. Well, I'm literally
I can take a picture of it and send it to you.
I'm literally recording it right now. We got like so in the moment we forgot this is a podcast.
I need to document this now. Like, yeah, we are recording this on Audacity and recording this on Zoom. Like,
and I will be listening to it when I edit later. Like, all right. What are my? So I could just be in the moment. What are my 6 steps?
Okay, so before that, it says you're stepping into spiritual completion. You've done the work to heal the past and are becoming more masterful with managing your emotions in the present. The future that has all the answers has already accomplished its mission for humanity, is able to send you energy across time and space for you to be nourished and empowered. Like a rosebud, you have fully blossomed and are like a phoenix, you are rising from the past, flying fearlessly into an inspiring horizon.
Oh, wow, beautiful.
Which feels very accurate.
It's very accurate, and especially because like the other part of this work that I'm moving towards is I pulled a bunch of cards on like what do I need to clear the way. And the answer I got was ancestral veneration, which we'll do an episode about, but it's basically helping like stuck ancestors like heal and move on. And I'm doing my ritual for that next week. And so I'm very literally like healing the past and like clearing the past so that we can move into the future.
And I love the imagery of the rose phoenix because it's not as like aggressive as rising from the ashes. It's kind of like this really beautiful, nourishing, growing
like the
thing.
Unfurling. I love.
Yes.
I love that.
So step 1, create a rose in your mind. Even if the image comes quickly, spend some time filling in the details and creating each petal. Put each neutral, positive, and negative thought into the rose and watch it expand in the mind's eye, then explode it to create space.
Okay. Done.
Step 2, breathe in and out 10 times through your mouth as if you're breathing through a straw, inhaling the mystery of life and exhaling all stuck emotions from the body. Step 3, set an intention for whatever information you might need right now to best assist your journey. To cultivate the greatest good, not only for your soul, but for the planet at large. Step 4, ground yourself into your body and envision the highest incarnation of yourself sitting in front of you. Step 5, watch their breathing pattern. How do they breathe life? Where are they breathing from? Begin to mimic the depth and frequency of their breath. And 6, as they exhale, feel the color and energy of their field come out of their mouth. Breathe their energy into your body and exhale it back to them. Watch them breathe you in. After a couple of moments of this, watch their body and yours merge into one. Soften into the energy and just be.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm not going to, like, dig too deep into it because I don't want to take up our whole episode, but that's a fantastic meditation.
I want to hear about that later because it's... All right.
I will take my assignment. I will do this meditation before we record next week, and then we can talk about it. So come back for the next... It'll be episode 3, not tarot time.
Yes.
So come back for episode 3 to hear about my meditation experience.
So finally, sorry, I'm telling you, these are like pretty long and in-depth, but they're very impactful. This is so good. So your mantra is, I've merged with my highest timeline and completed an important phase of my healing path. I trust that all the work I've done on my spirit and mind is solidified and built to last. Beautiful as a rose, but protected by time's thorns. Where I was once lost, I am now fully reborn.
Oh. I love this. Oh, this feels very apt. Like, I've done so many readings recently with cards that align, too. Like, I even pulled the baptism card recently, which is, like, rebirth. And so, like, there's a lot going on here that feels very magical. Beautiful. Beautiful. I wish I could... No, go ahead.
Oh, the other thing that I was going to say about this deck is, without fail, I'm clapping for emphasis. I would get every single card tattooed on my body.
Oh, like, yes.
Each imagery is so beautiful that I'm like, yeah, 100%. I'll pick one and just...
That's awesome.
Bring out the bzz, like, I'm doing it. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that I wish I could pull the card for you, but you're going to have to pull it for yourself.
I will. Okay. Let's see. What do I need to hear? Ooh. Why are you being so quiet?
Wait, also, I love that I asked what do I need to meditate on, and it gave me a literal meditation practice.
It gave you steps.
It was like, do this meditation.
And a really beautiful one that I've never really, like, heard before. I've never pulled that card before it either.
Neither have I. I really love that. Oh, a phoenix rose is a specific variety of rose. I just looked it up.
Really?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Okay, I think it's this one or this one. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Back you go. All right, mine is... I was literally thinking about this card imagery before because it's very, like, sapphic.
Okay, we love a sapphic
abundance.
Ooh. Oh, it's like a seashell. Like, that's, is that a conch shell? Is that what those are called?
Yeah.
And it's got, are those, like, pearls or string lights, like, flowing out of it?
It's kind of like a string of pearls and some, like, little dots of pearls.
Yeah, but they're very glowy, and they're like pouring out of the conch shell, and then the whole background is just, like, deep blue. Ooh, I just got chills. That's a good one.
Abundance. All right, so I'll give you... Oh, this one's actually just one page.
Okay, but before you read it, can I tell you the, like,
Yes.
intuitive message I'm getting
Tell
for
me,
you?
yes.
I think that, like, right away for me, it's like there's this whole barren kind of landscape of, like nothing behind it, and it's just the image, right? And I think that, like, what you need to hear right now was your question. And there's been a lot of upheaval in your life and a lot of ups and downs in the past, like, year or two. And I feel like there's been some things, like, turning recently of, like, things picking back up and moving, like, faster, but maybe not in the way you wanted them to, or not as, like full abundance feel as you would expect. And so I feel like the message here is, like, this too is abundance, even if it might not feel like it right away. And, like, even if it doesn't, like, even if the first step is just a baby step, it's a baby step towards your abundance and the, like, abundance you're building for yourself.
I love that. And I also love, like, from what you said too, I was like, oh, like, these little pearls have to be developed too.
Yeah.
Like, they take time and they don't always appear in the shape or form that you think they're going to. It's kind of random.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
This is literally the card I was thinking of. I was like, oh, I'm not going to spend time trying to find it to show.
And, like, not to dox you, but, like, there's likely going to be pearls in a future possession of yours that is abundant.
Yeah,
We'll just leave it at that for now. Keep listening for the reveal when it comes.
Yeah, you'll get to hear all of my adventures. All right, so this quote is from Lao Tzu from the Tao Te Ching. Simplicity, patience, compassion. These three are your greatest treasures. Allow the feeling of abundance to wash over you. This is not the quote anymore. Allow the feeling of abundance to wash over you. Focus on all the incredible blessings of your life. Feel your heartbeat and your breath move. Do you have all your senses? Do you have food at the table, a bed at night? Find the abundance in little things. Materialism can be a distraction that pulls us away from our true essence. Ask yourself in this moment what you truly have in abundance. Life, love, family, friendships. As much as you can, live in a state of appreciation for your abundance. It's often from that space where you believe that you are blessed and live in contentment, that unexpected blessings thrive.
I love!
Just really quick, this was written by, which is Kat Graham, but her initials are KG, which are my initials. So it kind of feels a little bit...
So it's a message from you to you.
From me to me. And my mantra is, my life is abundant and I am deeply appreciative of all my blessings.
That's beautiful.
That's really nice. Like, I think I needed to hear that.
Good. And I love the quote, too, of abundance as, like, simplicity and patience. Like, this is something my therapist and I talk a lot about, of this concept of, like, growing up where I grew up, very much abundance was like, have a lot of money, have a big house, a big car, do all the like, go on all the trips. And then as I've, like, grown into my adulthood, I keep coming back to, like, abundance for me is a very small life. I want to be able to bake bread every week, and I want to be able to, like, you know the people in my town, and, like, redefining what abundance actually looks like versus what, like, our capitalist society has taught us to view it as.
And that's definitely, like, what I've moved towards too, especially because my partner comes from a much more, like, rural place than I grew up, which was Tokyo, which is probably one of the largest cities in the whole world. Kind of moving towards, like, where do I want to make an impact, especially as a future primary care provider? Where do I want to make an impact? Is it where I thought before, like, was it, like, at the World Health Organization, or, like, changing the world for the better, which I'd, like, obviously want to do, but, like, what can I actually do with the things that I have, and how can I make meaningful, compassionate change and support where I am? And I feel like abundance really has to, like, do with that. And, like, I don't know, just kind of, like, coming back to the things that really matter. All right.
Amazing.
What do the listeners need to hear?
Yeah, just a message for our listeners. What do they need to hear? What do they need to meditate on? What card best serves them from wherever they are listening in this time and place?
Yeah, what do you need to... Sorry, this makes for great audio of me just slapping my cards around.
ASMR! We've been over this.
I'm ASMR queen. Oh, it's over here. Where are you? It's between these two. I think it's this one. Oh, man. You are not ready for this card.
Okay. Prepare yourself, listeners. This one's for you.
The card I have pulled for you is Greatness.
Oh, what? This is so sexy. Okay, so it's got like this epic like peacock with this like tail that's just so flowy and gorgeous. And then sitting petting the peacock is this like brown person, I guess we don't know their race or gender, that's naked, but they're like cloaked in this rich like purple kind of sheer cloak, and then they have a halo of gold behind them. The phoenix has a halo of gold behind them, and they're like adorned in golden jewelry. And I'll let Kaitlyn read the actual message, but right away to me it's giving me the vibes of like Greek goddess, you know, of like so powerful and so like revered that they're just draped in finery, but like also they're naked and they're like sitting with nature, and it's like they're not it's like very like laying out and having someone feed grapes to you, like very I deserve the world for simply existing.
And you do. This is just such, I was like, that's why I said, you're not ready for this card. It is just stunning.
Yeah.
This one is also on one page. So we got a little quick one. This quote is from Wilma Rudolph. I don't know who that is, but they must be very cool. Never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. We are all the same in this notion. The potential for greatness lives within each of us. And I was going to say too, like the other impression I do get from this card before I read on is just this kind of like, it's almost like the strength card.
Yeah.
It's just very much this kind of like connection with nature, the connection with others, and like what is that, like almost classic yoga quote, like the namaste, like the light in me sees the light in you. Right?
Yeah.
You know way more about that than I do, but it kind of is like this like
I think the exact I don't know for sure, but I think the concept of namaste means like the divine in me like sees and bows to the divine in you.
And that's what I kind of like feel with this card. It's very much like I see you, you see me, like
and I do love when cards like that have like a softness to them, where it's like great, but it's great in a soft way. It's not like, you know, charge forward, take control, be the leader. It's like a very like great and just like what's that quote that's like I do not dream of, like, what do you dream? What's your dream job? And the response is like, I do not dream of labor. It's like,
yes.
It's like, they're so great that they recognize their like true divinity is like just luxury and enjoying all of the abundance of existing in this planet.
Oh, that's beautiful. I want to figure out who that quote is from.
Yeah, I'll look it up while you read the guidebook.
Perfect. Oh, okay. I didn't even read that. I swear to God, I didn't read this before. To be great, we must recognize that we already are. That's really wonderful. We must look ourselves in the eye and understand that our true greatness, our unfathomable power, lies within our potential, dormant and waiting to awaken. Greatness is not something that is achieved. It's something that you accept and actualize. This card is here to remind you that you are divine greatness. With this awareness, you can move away from feelings of insecurity, jealousy, and inner conflict. Instead, you will now move forward from a space of understanding, love, and self-acceptance. Walk with your greatness. It is not in the past nor in the future, but with you now. The mantra is, I accept, embrace, and activate the power of my greatness. So, listeners, I hope you know how wonderful you are, how great you are, and how much I don't know. Like, I think witchcraft and what we're trying to do and what the whole point of this is to really unlock a lot of those things that we already have within ourselves. So that's what we're all trying to do, and I hope you remember how powerful and wonderful you are.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
We love you.
We love you.
And we see your greatness, even if no one else is recognizing it as they should.
And even if you don't recognize it all the time, too. Yeah, just be kind to yourself. I need to work on that.
Yeah.
I think we all need to work on a little bit of softness, especially, and not to get, like, too political, but what is witchcraft if not... What is witchcraft if not political, and who are we if we don't talk about the things that are important?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on in our world right now. I can't even name one because it is just a big diarrhea scattershot.
I mean, like, just like all the things coming from the Trump. I mean, it's hard because it's February 12th right now, so by the time people are listening to this, who knows what bullshit will be happening next, because it feels like every day it's something new, and that's just from our own government and doesn't even touch on what's happening, like, globally. And so it just feels like left, right, and center. Everything is burning all the time. And that can be really heavy and really hard and really exhausting.
And it's definitely, I think with all of these things, it's really easy to feel very powerless. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a feeling that I've struggled with of like, I'm just one person, what can I do? And that's a really hard feeling to sit in, but just know that you have a lot of people around you, you have a lot of community, you have a lot of resources of people who are trying to fight for you and for the people that this administration is trying to erase. You exist and you are great and you are wonderful, and there's not one orange Cheeto man who can tell you otherwise. So we see you, we're here with you,
and we love you,
and we're doing whatever we can to make you feel seen and heard, and make you feel like you're not alone, because you're not. There's a lot of us out here who are just reeling, and that's okay to reel a little bit, but we're all pretty great together. So,
and it's only by like
Shine
seeing
on.
that and believing in that we can create a tomorrow that looks different than today.
And we can.
Oh,
and we will.
And we will. Yeah.
That's where that's where like the kind of going for dominant masculine energy comes in. We will go for it.
Yeah. We gotta have the Pisces to dream and then the Aries to make it happen.
So just say fuck it and do.
And fuck it and do.
Fuck it and do it.
All right. Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with episode 3. What are we even talking about on episode 3? Let's see.
That's a great question. I have...
Spring magic! Okay, so episode 3 comes out, like, right around spring equinox. So we're going to talk all about, like, traditions around spring, energy of spring, as well as, like, magic rituals you can do in your own, like, life to work with the energy of spring. So that'll be a really fun one. That'll be next Wednesday. So we'll talk to you then. In the meantime, like, review, follow, subscribe, do all the things, tell someone about us. And yeah, I guess that's
If you have somebody in your car on a long road trip, put us on and
force
say,
them to
hey.
listen to our voices.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
All right.
As is above,
so is below.
As is within,
so is without.
Thank you.
I love you.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.